The little secret in product is that engineers are typically the best source of innovation. They're not even invited to the party in this process. So your team just launched a product. It's been months of hard work, following every process, sticking to the roadmap, and hitting every deadline. But no one's using it. Engagement is flat. Leadership is left wondering what went wrong. This isn't just a rare incident, it happens all the time. And what could be the reason why many tech products fail? Could it be that teams are so caught up in executing features and meeting deadlines that they forget the most critical question? Does this product truly solve a real problem? Today, I want to review Inspired: How to Create Tech Products Customers Love by Marty Cagan. Before we dive into the book, I want to talk briefly about the author. Marty Cagan is a leader in this field. He has spent decades working, consulting, and observing companies of all sizes, not just in Silicon Valley, but around the world. When he talks about product management, a wealth of experience comes through. And yet, he's not inventing any new techniques or coming up with a process. Instead, he and his group look for commonalities among the teams that consistently succeed. He argues that there's a remarkable gap between how the best companies work and the rest. Inspired is about the lessons from those teams who do it best. I will break down the book into three main lessons. Lesson 1: Avoid the feature trap. Focus on the problem first. One of the biggest mistakes product teams make is falling in love with a solution before fully understanding the problem. When you lock onto a specific feature too early, you risk building something that users don't actually need. Kagan emphasizes that strong product teams don't wait to be told what to build. They focus on identifying the right problems to solve. Take Slack as an example. It wasn't the first chat application. Tools like IRC, AIM, and Skype had existed for years. But Slack succeeded because it solved a key problem. Conversations were scattered across too many apps in the workplace. Instead of adding chat features, the team built a single searchable space to keep workplace communication organized. Also, their go-to-market strategy played a big role in success. They didn't pitch to executives. Instead, they targeted developers and startups who were early adopters of new tools. Once this group of people started using Slack, it spread organically within organizations. It had an intuitive interface, an easy onboarding experience, and after 2 weeks of launching, they already had more than 15,000 happy users. There was clarity of purpose there and a genuine obsession with solving the problem, which ultimately led to a breakthrough product. So, shifting to a problem-first mindset means stepping back and asking, do we really get what's frustrating our users? Have we explored more than one possible solution before committing? And most importantly, are we actually talking to real users to make sure we're on the right track? The goal should be that for an existing problem, our solution should be dramatically better, 10x better, that would make customers shift towards our product. Lesson 2: Build teams that actually work together. So let's just say your team has correctly identified the right problem to solve. The product can still flop if the team behind it is not collaborating well. Keegan has observed that the best product teams are cross-functional from day one, where product managers, designers, and engineers each bring their unique perspectives and work continuously. This is how innovation happens. He warns us about feature teams. Feature teams exist solely to ship what leadership or stakeholders request, focusing only on delivery rather than discovery. They don't question if a feature solves a problem. A product team, on the other hand, understands that a great product needs to be valuable, usable, feasible, and viable. Valuable: the customer will buy the product. Usable: the customer can figure out how to use it. Feasible: it can be built and maintained. And viable: it means ensuring that the solution is something that you can afford to build, monetize, you can market and sell, and that it respects ethical considerations, rules, and laws. So when you're building this product team, engineers play a big role in determining the feasible part of the product. And how can the product be both innovative and technically sound? They aren't just coders, they're problem solvers, they're creators. Some would even argue that the secret sauce behind any great product. And yet, too often they're brought in late in the process. They're handed a set of requirements and asked to make it work. This is a massive missed opportunity. And Kagan says when you bring engineers just to code, you're just getting half of their value. A great example of these cross-functional teams can be seen at Amazon. They structure small, autonomous two-pizza teams that include all necessary roles: product, design, engineering, and often data or operations, right from the outset. The idea is that a team shouldn't be so large that you need more than two pizzas to feed everyone. That's arguable for sure. But keeping teams small promotes agility, clear communication, and a sense of shared ownership across all functions. Because the entire team owns both discovery and delivery together, there's no department that's left out, and there's less friction between handoffs. Lesson 3. Focus on outcomes, not just outputs. Shipping features on time and on budget might look great on paper, but none of it matters if those features fail to improve the user experience or address a real need. Kagan reminds us it's not about checking items of a roadmap. It's about whether your product truly makes users' lives better. I'm sure some of you remember Google Wave. It launched with an impressive suite of features like real-time chat and document editing. I remember the real-time chat because of how annoying it was that people would see everything I was typing and deleting in real time. It was impressive. It didn't solve anything. And not just for me, for anybody. So without that problem-solution fit, the desired outcome, which was long-term adoption, never materialized for that product. Adopting an outcome-driven mindset means shifting focus from just shipping to making an impact. Instead of celebrating a release date, measure success by how much a feature improves user satisfaction, engagement, or retention. And very importantly, stay humble and open-minded. If the data shows a new feature isn't delivering the expected results, don't be afraid to iterate, pivot, or scrap it altogether. So the 3 main takeaways are: 1. Fall in love with a problem, not with a solution. Then you will always be solving something that matters. 2. Assemble a cross-functional team where engineers are involved right from the start. And 3. Keep the focus on a product that's valuable, usable, feasible, and viable, rather than just checking tasks off a list. These are very simple principles, and he's not reinventing the wheel here. Was it necessary for him to write a book that does not break down any frameworks or techniques? Yes. Kagan has been talking about these ideas for many years, but to this day, he claims that most companies are still clinging to process, addicted to process, in love with the process, he says. And that kills innovation. Engineers are still left out of discussion and only brought in just to build something. The engineer may wonder, why are we building this, if he or she even wonders that? But at that point, it is probably too late to say anything because things have already been approved and signed off. That's why he says again and again, we need teams of missionaries, not teams of mercenaries. Teams of missionaries are engaged, motivated. They have a deep understanding of the business context and a true empathy for the customer. Teams of mercenaries feel no real sense of empowerment or accountability, no passion for the problem to be solved, and little real connection with the actual users and customers. I guess books like these are empowering for those who have an engineering background. Inspired is the first book of a 4th set. The others are Empowered, Loved, and Transformed. I am debating which one to read next. I'm most curious about Transformed because he is more practical there about how to morph from a feature team to a product team. In any case, what do you think about the lessons from this book? Have you worked on a feature team before? Did you experience some of the things that Kagan talks about here?